Hey everybody, welcome to Ask the Anabolic Doc, starring Dr. Thomas O'Connor, brought to you by his websites, metabolicdoc.com and anabolicdoc.com, both of which you can get his new book, America on Steroids, A Time to Heal, also available on Amazon. Doctor, how are you, sir, today?
Excellent, Ron. Excellent. So happy. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Now, I saw your Florida office is just about ready. What's going on down there?
Yeah, so after years actually in culmination, we have the office ready to go. Here's the address for everyone to know. It's going to be 2151 East Commercial Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale.
Wow, okay.
And we're going to be open for the first days. We have actually a couple guys already set up. I'm going to probably I'm going to go for 2 or 3 days at a time.
Yeah.
For every third week. Going to probably leave Connecticut and go to Florida for about a week.
Okay.
And we're just going to load up the guys and we're going to go back and forth. You know, with the way. Oh, Ron?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Oh, I lost the hold on, I lost the picture.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So the way technology is, I see the patient and then we have everything scanned up and everything's really kind of via the computers and faxes. Everything's paperless.
Yeah.
So I'll be down there for 2 days at a time. And we're going to be sending patients there that are from Florida and from whatever parts of the United States. It seems like so many guys don't want to come see me here in Connecticut.
Well, you know, I have to wonder, Fort Lauderdale, there's a huge retiree population down in Florida in general. Do you expect to have an older clientele down in Florida than you have in your Connecticut office?
No. So here's the deal. You know, I'm an old concierge doc. I started this whole thing as those concierge boutique doctors like Florida has, and I still have a few patients left up here, and that's been great. I grandfathered them in. You know, I started this whole gig off as being a geriatric doctor.
Yeah.
You know, so and I still do some of that, but you know, because I'm a primary care doc, so I still can do it. But what we're looking to get in Florida is men, of course, only men from the age of low 20s that are suffering from anabolic steroids.
Yeah.
To men that are in their 40s up into 60s and even 70s that are on testosterone, Ron.
Yeah. But
they want a doctor that really understands just how to manage testosterone only for men. I don't do anything else. I diagnose and I treat men on testosterone. Some men have been using testosterone on themselves for years, and those are steroid users, and I don't discriminate. They've done that, yeah. And it's in some circumstances, as you know, it's caused some severe medical problems. So I deal with that. Yeah. And but what I'm looking for is the average guy who's between 40 and 60, who's on testosterone or who has low testosterone from diabetes, from age, you know, from whatever, and he needs a very good doctor to diagnose him. And my whole thing that I love is the management. I mean, here I am another day today up here in Connecticut where, God, Ron, it's incredible what I've created. All I do is take care of men on testosterone. But all I do, Ron, is the last guy I talked to about 10 minutes ago, yeah. He has depression, and he's on and off testosterone doses because it can worsen his depression. I'm not kidding. And he's already done, he's 40, yeah. And he's been on and off steroids, and his testosterone levels weren't abolished. You know, they weren't like into the ground like 10 and 20 like some men that use a lot of steroids and their testicles are completely, you know, I mean, let's face it, their brains are so shut down from huge steroid uses, and certain men don't ever bounce back. Right. This guy was more of a low normal guy. He was on testosterone for years, and but I'm working with him right now with a psychiatrist, Ron.
Wow.
So the truth is, this is a man that because of the underlying conditions of his brain, yeah. And his life, he has a mood disorder. He really is a little bit bipolar. But he's a functioning man. He has children. He found that on steroids they made him definitely roid ragey and manic. So, but underlying, it's because he has mood disorder, Ron. He's not his fault. He's a great guy. It's a chemical thing.
Yeah.
And we don't discriminate on people and say, get over it. You should not have a mood disorder. You should not be depressed. You're a wimp.
Imagine telling all the people in America suffering depression, get over it.
Ron, I mean, right? So it's like people, and then people, of course, use pills. They use Prozac. They use antidepressants. I'm not an expert in this. So here's a man where I'm balancing him. He's on testosterone, and I'm balancing him with a psychiatrist. And I have to now, in the next day or so, call the psychiatrist and say, "How you doing? How you doing? Her name's Maria. Hey, Maria, Tom O'Connor. Yeah, we saw blah blah blah. Here's what I think's going on. His levels are this. What do we? So this is what I do, Ron. I work with general practitioners, psychiatrists, cardiologists. I become the medical manager for men on testosterone, Ron, and I'm bringing it to Florida. I love it. We're booming. Business is insane. I'm going to have to hire a doctor. A lot of people are getting scared. Doc, I don't want to go to your doctor. I want to go to you. Hey, right now, for the next, I could probably take with my staff. I'm hiring staff down there. I could probably take another probably 200 patients. Wow. That's going to probably be good for about a year or so. I don't know. I'm not a bullshit guy. Yeah. You know, it depends. I'm trying to grow slowly because my most important feature, Ron, are my patients today.
Yeah.
I love doing this. I always will. I'm writing in bigger, I'm in Muscle and Fitness this month. They did a big article. Muscle and Fitness did an article. New York Times, the people from Hollywood came out. That's all fun for me. But my number one thing, Ron, is my patients. Because if I don't have them, what I'm useless. What am I?
Right. But I mean, you don't intend to keep going back and forth between Connecticut and Florida indefinitely, right? Eventually.
No, I probably will though. But my goal, I actually like, if someone said, Doc, are you going to move to Florida? Well, you know what? I know there's no state income tax there, but there's no mountains there.
Yeah.
And what do I like to do?
They have swamps. They have giant cockroaches that fly. They have
I'm ready for it. Ron, come on, Ron. One of my dreams was to open a medical clinic in South Florida. So I got my license. We got our real estate. We're opening on June 4th. I'm going to be there. We got the staff coming down. It's a challenge to coordinate all this.
Okay.
We're doing it. I'm going to take over South Florida. I'm going to get more clinics. And please, everyone, call Wendy. She's the membership specialist for all the questions. Get online. And I'm so happy, Ron.
Right on. Now, I'm just curious. There's got to be a ton of quote-unquote anti-aging clinics in that vicinity too, right?
So here's the deal, Ron. Thanks for bringing it up.
Sure.
So what my goal is, thank you. I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
My goal is to, in the best and the most politically correct way I can, is to give men at those facilities an alternative, because let's face it, they're all on testosterone, right, Ron?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so they're on testosterone, and they may be on other things than testosterone, growth hormones, peptides, Anavar, decadurabolin, steroids, thyroid medicines, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
I'm giving those men an opportunity to come to me, who, again, I'm an internist. I take a different approach. I spend more time. I want to work with other doctors that are like general practicing doctors that are legitimate. I want to really give a man an option. Should you be on testosterone? Number one. And if you should, do you understand what the consequences of testosterone may be? And so I'm anti-aging doctors, Ron, come on. They don't even see patients, and they mail steroids up to the Northeast. I can't believe it happens, but it does.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what, Ron? It's like, I will have to carry arms when I'm down there because if we do a good job, but I have a big mouth though, and guys who don't want to be around me, they just don't come around me. But there's enough patients that actually do like me, which is great. So I bend over back. All I want to do is heal men that are on testosterone, make sure they're safe, because testosterone, if you need it, is unbelievable miracle drug.
Carry on.
Like, right, Ron? I mean, is it true?
Oh, absolutely. Like the funny that you say, you might have to bear arms down there. I think the handgun laws are pretty lax down in Florida. I believe you get like a 38 special when you fill up your tank at the mobile.
Is that
station.
true though? Is that really true though, Ron?
No, you don't get a free gun.
No, but is it true though that it's lax? Is that really true?
I would have to look into it. I know there's a lot of states are, you and I are both from these Northeast liberal states where, I have a license to carry. It took me almost a year to get it.
Awesome.
I had to jump through hoops, interview with the police department a couple times, but I know there are states where, I don't even know if they run a criminal record check on you.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, some states it's very, very lax.
Well, that's America, baby.
Exactly,
that's it.
Yeah, we love America. All right, ready for some questions, Doc?
Let's go. Let's go.
Swaminator, we love you, Swaminator. Two-part question. Swaminator, I think you asked this before, but here you go again. Do you believe that over-the-counter test boosters such as Tribulus, DAA, fenugreek, etc., can significantly increase testosterone levels? If the answer is no, disregard part 2. So let's find out. First of all, do you believe those over-the-counter test boosters significantly? So significantly is kind of a relative term here, but let's say...
Here's the deal. Yeah. I saw a guy last week on some of this stuff, and his testosterone levels were definitely significantly increased.
Okay, wow.
So they do work, but the question, Swami, thank you, Swami. I mean, we're gonna change the name of the show to like Ask the Anabolic Doc and Swaminator only.
Yes.
Because it's just this is a VIP place here. Yeah. It's just me, you, and Swami.
I don't want to put the pressure on him though. He might want to go on vacation one week.
Swami, you're got to work now with us. So these are great questions, Swami. So the stuff does work. Because guys come in, I do consults almost 1 a day, sometimes 2 a day, my hour consults. Yeah. And a guy came in and his sexual binding globin was low. His testosterone levels were really high. His estrogen was high. It looked like he was on a little bit of Tast.
Wow.
Or steroids. And he swore to me that he was on, I don't remember what the brand was, but he was on some test booster, man. And he said he was on and off it for probably only like 3 or 4 months. But he does this. This is very interesting. So many men come into me. They're like, Doc, never did steroids. I've never touched it. I'm very careful with what I use. I only use over-the-counter boosters.
Right.
And it's very interesting, Ron. It's like, okay. So what are you using? They're using this stuff. It's a Tribulus, a DAA, fenugreek, and whatever else that's in the pill. Yeah. And I do see sometimes the levels are up. But Ron, remember my whole story from the New York Times article that the guy, we don't know what's in it. It's not injectable though, so it's a pill. So is it a Clomid mix of Clomid, Ron? Is
it steroids? Do they sneak a little bit of steroids in there?
But hold on, Ron. Hold on, Ron.
Yeah.
Let's think about this. If it's an oral steroid, it's probably going to lower testosterone.
Yeah, I mean your natural production, yeah.
And when I look for luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulation, because I have a panel I do. So we look at all the pituitary gonadotropins, we look at Test, total and free, sexual and binding globin, estrogen. I mean, I really do this whole panel. It's pretty straightforward. Right. And it's interesting to see how those end up based on some of these oral agents. But you're right, though. We don't know what they are. But here's the bottom line, Swami. They do significantly, they can, I should say, increase. They really can. Yeah. But it's not sustained. Guys end up saying, you never hear a guy say, I've been living on this form of this test booster for 2 years, and I feel consistently great.
So something like Tribulus, let's just say Tribulus. So you're on Tribulus, and it's raising your testosterone. At what point? I mean, is it different for everybody?
Ron,
2 months from now, 6 months, a year from now, it's not going to work anymore?
Ron, that's the down regulation. That's the receptor regulation. That's where this is the whole thing. I love this question. It's so cerebral, and I don't research this stuff. I don't know this stuff. I'm busy dealing with testosterone and complications all day. Yeah. So is it hitting it? Is it acting on the hypothalamus? Question mark. Is it acting on the pituitary? Question mark. Is it acting in the testicles? Question mark. Okay, so it is somewhere acting on the hypothalamus pituitary gonad axis. It is. It's not acting on your eyeball. It's not acting on your toenail. So it's acting there, and it does cause it to go up on paper. And with that, some men will feel quite well. But the question is, it doesn't stay there. It doesn't. The body seems to downregulate against it, and they don't maintain the number on paper. Because I guys, okay, so see you later, man. Okay, well, what do you want to do? I don't know, Doc. I don't know. What do you want to do? So, okay, Doc. Hey, Doc. I'll tell you what. Let me see if I can stand this stuff, and let's check my labs in 2 months.
Yeah.
And they'll come back, and I've been doing this for 10 years. I've seen dozens, if not 120, 100, 200, 30, 300, where they'll come back in a couple of months or whatever, and it will never be the same number, and they won't. They're never going to be consistent. So you know what they end up doing, Ron?
Go on Tesipionate.
I'm just trying to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, it's like you said, the TRT dose of testosterone, it's sustainable, it's safe. You know you know exactly what they're getting, and you can monitor everything. So,
Ron, I'm just trying to be honest. Yeah. So don't. It's like, there's a whole $1 billion supplement business on these test boosters. I'm not saying it's bullshit. I'm just saying it doesn't. It leads either guys stop doing it or they go on and off and they feel great. I want to hear from some guys in the comments. Tell us what your experiences have been with this stuff.
Okay, yeah. So guys, if you're using this stuff, Doc and I, we both want to hear it. We want to hear your experiences, and we'll talk about it here on the show. But yeah, when I see like that Nugenix commercial with the big retired baseball player guy, and he's giving credit to this, it's Nugenix. They're not a sponsor, so I can say it out loud. But I just roll my eyes when I see that commercial.
It's the biggest bunch of bullshit. These guys are on, Ron. Those commercials with the guys, every single, let's just call it what it is, Ron. This is the beautiful, the truth of our show. Yeah. These guys are on freaking steroids, everyone.
Absolutely.
And the guys that are like the mid-age T guy, those 50-something-year-old guys that are on those infomercials on YouTube.
Yeah, and is this the one where he's like on the bench and he's supposed to be an old man?
Yes!
His shirt off, oh my God.
The old man?
Yeah, dude, I can see you're on GH and Test, dude. So
Ron, he's on GH Test, Anavar, Winstrol. Yeah. Come on, bro. Come on out, bro. There's no way. Come on. I mean, you may be fooling a bunch of millions of kids all around the world or some stupid middle-aged guys. But, I mean, hey, you got a good body. You look great. You diet. You don't overeat. You train hard. You respond well to testosterone, not to mention steroids. Right, Ron?
Absolutely.
He's had plastic surgery. He's had his nipples, fixed up with gynecomastia. I mean, come on, Ron. This is what I do. This is my day job, folks.
I thought you were going to say he had his nipples pierced. I don't recall that.
I don't know about that. But it's just like, and it's like, that guy's great, you know what? But he's making millions of bucks, I hope. I hope he's going to make a lot of money because it's great stuff.
I'm sure he is. Okay, so because the answer was yes, now we get to hear part two. So Swami says, if you're already on doctor-prescribed TRT, is there any benefit whatsoever to using over-the-counter test boosters?
Useless.
Useless.
I just don't. I get all these questions. You know what we call this in medicine?
No.
Pissing in the wind. Or pissing in the ocean. Yeah. So if you already are on testosterone, and if you really think that you're going to, again, I'm going to piss off all the anti-aging gurus who sell DHEA.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. You give a man a proper dose of testosterone, of course, who needs it, and you work around, hopefully he doesn't have depression and diabetes and all these other things that are real, Ron.
Yeah.
And then you nail him down and you get it just right and you really watch him closely. This guy is going to be happy and horny. Would you please, adding in little baby doses of DHEA? I'm just in one of these moods today. I don't want to be abusive. I'm in my abusive mode. I'm going to get a lot of haters from this one.
Okay.
But Ron, it's just pissing in the wind. If you don't need to do it. If you're in it's like you're standing in the ocean. I remember a doctor years ago when he was talking about using some medicines that are like very hugely powerful and then adding some small medicine. You're standing in the ocean and you're peeing in the ocean.
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to cause a tidal wave?
Probably not. I mean, this is similar to young guys. I've had guys as young as 18 ask me, hey, should I use a test booster? I go, test booster? Dude, you have like a gallon of test coursing through your veins right now.
You're boosted.
Enjoy it.
And Ron, that's the truth. You and I we're here for truth, and Muscular Development is a freaking great magazine. The truth is, and there's some supplements on there. I would assume that they're vetted and they're real, and because protein supplements are real, and there's some of those pro-hormone things, not pro-hormones, the pre-drinks, the pre-training. Those things are great. They're needed, and you want to buy great stuff. There's companies that are great. But the truth is, young kids who take pro hormones and steroids, this is stupid stuff, Ron. Dumb stuff. If you want to call it what it is, you can just take steroids and just call it what it is, kid.
Yeah. That's what I usually
Sorry,
tell
Ron.
them.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I usually tell them, just get on steroids, kid. If you're gonna blow out your liver taking pro hormones.
I mean, just you know, so you're like you said, a 19, 20-year-old kid, not to mention 25. This is a kid. His testosterone's blowing through the roof.
Yeah.
A booster.
I tell him, enjoy it while it lasts, because it ain't going to be like this forever, kid.
It is true. And I remember, you know, so let me say, let's do it back in the day.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you know, and you know, Greg Valentino's a buddy of mine. Like, Greg's insane. I love Greg. Greg, if you're hearing this, I know he watches it on my stuff. Thank you so much, Greg. I love watching Greg's stuff. When I just need to chuckle and laugh, I watch Lee Priest and Greg. I mean,
can't go wrong with those two.
I mean, this is just the funnest stuff in the world. So, but Greg, if you're when you're young, and I know Greg did have a fit. I watched a whole thing a week or two ago about Greg when he was young, and it was just amazing. You're young. Genetics play a huge role, of course. You're young. You train hard. Your testosterone is high. I remember I didn't even want to think about even using even anything, because when I was 25, even 30, you're natural. You're working on the stuff you got best. Yeah. And then back in the old day, I know it's kind of bullshit because those guys said don't do steroids, train hard into your mid-20s or later, and then start the steroids. And I don't know if we don't need to go into who said it and if it's true or not, but they didn't. They certainly gave themselves more time, Ron. Don't you believe it's true? Training drug-free?
I tell, you know, people don't like, society just isn't as patient in general now. We want things right now. It's an instantaneous culture, but I try to do my best. Anytime young guys are asking me, I say try to max out your own natural genetics. You know, and it'll probably take you mid to late 20s if you.
Yes.
And that's, you know, I didn't touch a steroid until I was 27. Started training when I was 14, and you know, I have no regrets. I don't regret not starting any younger. I think you're better off waiting as long as you can. Valentino, I think he was like in his 30s when he started. Yeah.
But he looked unbelievable, beautiful.
He had a
unbelievable,
amazing natural physique. Greg did. Yeah.
So, but now the guys now, Ron. Oh my God! You know, I swear, Ron. Every month or two, I'll get a 19 or an 18-year-old kid coming in who's been on gear since 16.
Oh, that's just good. To me, that's revolting. Yeah. I mean, you have a son, right?
Yeah, 12-year-old son.
Yeah. I mean, if 2 or 3 years from now someone sold him steroids, I imagine you'd be pretty upset.
That's what we got to do. I mean, we got to reach out. We got to do something about that. And it should be probably, you got to train right to your mid-20s, at least get past 20, like so your bones are fused.
To me, it's not even that. It's learning your body, learning how to train, learning how to eat, learning as much as you can about what works best for you, really mastering the mind-muscle connection. You know, to me, it's like a whole, I really want people to become masters of their own bodies before they introduce anything, because then I think
perfect.
It's not a thing like you're not worthy yet. It's more like you're going to get so much more out of the drugs when you're using them as a supplement and not relying on them.
And you know what's true, Ron, too, having some background, a little bit in psychology, do you know that, and the laws are interesting, do you know that in the juvenile courts now, you know that they don't, you're a boy or a young teenager, you know, his brain is not fully formed until even like 23, I think now, as far as like decision making.
I believe that. That makes sense.
So think about it. If you give yourself to, say, pick a number, 25, before you do anything at all, if you want to be a pro bodybuilder, pro power lifter, strongman, which are, I'm not saying these are bad things. These are great things. Yeah. They should be great things. So if they want to do that, they should run all the way up to that point with not touching anything, Ron. Yeah. And then they're fully mature. And they can make the decision. And it would be interesting if you did a study, or if we had that in our society, how many men at the age of 25 would even say, you know what, I don't know if it's even worth it for me to do right now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I mean, we won't make the whole show about this, but sometimes when I try to make that argument, people will come back and they'll point to a specific superstar bodybuilder, some big name champion. They say, well, he was clearly on steroids when he was 18 or 19. He's fine. I say, yeah, but you know what? For every one like that, I guarantee you there's 5,000 other kids that were on steroids at 17, 18, 19 that burnt out, and they didn't even, by 25, they weren't even lifting weights anymore. They were done.
Ron, and they have depression, mood disorders, and I've seen suicides already.
Yeah, I mean, you're a 22-year-old kid. You've already lost your hair. You got gyno. You know, you're not Mr. Olympia like you thought you were going to be. It can be a bummer.
Ron, we're doing our duty, man. That was awesome. That's a good little rant. Thank you.
Rant. Okay, now we have Albertos, and now we're talking about vitamin D3/K2 supplementation. How much? I was taking 4 IU with some K2 with olive oil every morning for the last 6 months. I have not tested my levels of D3. I use it as a test booster and for health benefits. I intend to use it again in the autumn, but is it safe? I'm worrying about artery calcification. And today he posted a little clarification. To clarify, what I was taking was D3 and I had K2 200 milligrams after some doctors advised to not take D3 alone as it can cause calcification. Thank you. Yeah.
Wow. So I did some research on this, everyone. This is really good cardiovascular stuff again. So when you look for K2, vitamin K obviously is a cofactor, you know, vitamin K, K1. And I'm not an expert in this stuff at all. This is complicated stuff, but I could tell you this. When I think of vitamin K, what comes to mind to me is the coagulation system, which is if you hear someone who has a DVT or pulmonary embolism, or they have atrial fibrillation, we put them on Coumadin.
Yeah.
Coumadin is a vitamin K depleting agent, and we use that. Yeah. So we use that when you're on Coumadin, your blood is thinned, and this is going to tie into the end of it. The docs in Poland said K2 make your blood thick. Hold on a minute. We're going to tie it all in here. So this is real science here. This is part of the show, Ron. It's a great question. So and vitamin D and vitamin K. So the bone health, calcification, mineral bone health, the strength of bones, and blood vessel calcification, and the blood vessel the blood vessel itself is very hard fibrous tissue. So that the vitamin D, the bones mineralization, and vitamin K, these are all tied in together. So years ago, there was studies that showed that people that had lower levels of vitamin K in their diet had increased coronary artery disease. And remember the coronary artery disease we talk about as the calcium score?
Yeah.
So when this hardening of the arteries becomes calcified, turns to stone,
yeah. It's
a complicated process, physiological or pathological process, that when this fat lipid turns to stone, and that's not good. That's what happens. Now that process, that's my life, yeah. And that's blood pressure, cholesterol, sugar, diabetes, too much steroids with the wrong guy. So all these other factors, family history, men have it before women, smoking, all these, I just said them all, right? Obesity. Yeah. So if you have calcification, this guy's talking about with vitamin K, the studies that they're vitamin K dependent proteins. And if you're deficient in them for some reason, very complicated reason why, it could speed up and accelerate the calcification of the artery. So the studies, and this is like Linus Pauling stuff way back in the 50s, 60s, 1970s, even beyond with vitamin C and these cofactors. Yep. There is truth to it. That's why having a good stable diet and some basic, supplementation is probably good for people. But supplementation, in fact, that if you have a depleted state, and that's why rich fruits and vegetables, green leafy vegetables, have more vitamin K. This is definitely one of the reasons why people that eat rich green plants and plant-based proteins, one reason among many why they have probably lower heart disease, because they have more vitamin K in their diet.
Okay.
So it's a cofactor. So let's look at it. And it's what I saw was, which I actually take, and I'm thinking when I was reading it, I got to go back on this. MK7. So MK7, yeah, these are different types of commercial types of supplemental vitamin K. Okay. But again, the caveat is, oh my God, if you're on Coumadin, it's not just your grandmother on Coumadin. I have patients in my practice that are on Coumadin because they have multiple DVTs. It's genetic. They have atrial fibrillation. So we put them on Coumadin or other medicines that are anticoagulant. if you go on Coumadin and you take vitamin K
Yeah.
or too much green leafy stuff, you're at risk for having a stroke, which we're trying to block and thin your blood with a Coumadin. So you understand that, right, Ron? Is that pretty clear?
Sort of. I mean.
So vitamin K, it relates to cofactors, and for me, my main understanding of it is in medicine is the coagulation, your clotting of your blood. So the guy, look at this. The guy says here, the docs in Poland say K2 makes your blood thick, so it can be dangerous. He's thinking because he's thinking of his patients on Coumadin that he's thinned the blood, and therefore, if you give K2 or vitamin K, you're gonna block that, you're gonna mitigate that effect therapeutically, and then they're gonna have thickened blood. That is not true. Doc in Poland, it's not true. But don't put the docs in Poland down, because you're saying docs in Poland, or this poor doctor. What doc? Docs in Poland don't say this, because doctors in Poland are actually very smart. This is a day. So again, and then vitamin D does test boosters. I mean, so vitamin K, you should get it naturally in your diet. It is true that there's studies have shown vitamin D with vitamin K, apparently, arguably based on some science, drives in the vitamin K, the vitamin D, excuse me, it works better to make your bones better. Now, the side effect could be on the vascular tissue. So you don't want to be hypercoagulable. You don't want to be too much clotting, but you don't want to be too under clotting. You want to be right in the middle. So I think the data, though, when I was researching it this afternoon, really quick and just before I was getting ready for today, I was like, that's very interesting, though. And I always try to read. So here's a secret. I have up to date, which I pay for, medical literature, and I didn't even look at that because I was too busy. Yeah. And I have to log into that and stuff. But I read on Mayo Clinic. I read on Cleveland, the guys at Harvard, Jocelyn, and they always have stuff on this. And then you kind of cross-reference some of the articles, and you can get a picture for yourself. I mean, I'm reading it as a doc, so for me, I'm going, okay, that's making sense, and this doesn't make sense. Stay away from if you look at it from a supplement company, I mean, they're going to put on, their twist is going to be only the studies that make it appear like it's going to be great stuff. Of course. Yeah. So the vitamin K. So that's my vitamin K thing with calcification in arteries. Be careful with it. Okay. So it can cause calcification. What's that? It can cause calcification. Well, it's supposedly so. No, the deficiency of it, Ron. Yeah. It's you got to kind of open your brain on this. The deficiency of vitamin K affects the cofactors that will lead to an increase in calcification and clotting, the clot on your blood vessel wall. Yeah. It seems like it is true. So that's why you want to have a substantial amount of dietary vitamin K. Okay. So, and it is true that it may appear that if you can't get it in your diet, this stuff called MK7 or different types of vitamin K may be able to be supplemented. But it's good for protecting the heart potentially. Okay, gotcha. So, but again, that in the end of the day, Ron, I think in the end, just good basic diet with some basic supplementation is all people need. Okay, fair enough. This question came in another thread in Ask Ron. I don't know why he would ask me this, but luckily I had someone who would know the answer to pass it on to. Sam O says, hello, Ron and MD members. Hope you guys are doing well. My question is, I started TRT 2 months ago. The doctor put on Nebido, Test Depot, 1 gram, 4 milliliters, then a booster shot a month after I took a blood test, 3 weeks after the second injection, and compared both results, as you see below. So I'm trying to figure this out. He got 1 shot, and then they gave him they're giving him like a shot every month, apparently. So, okay. Yeah. First injection, 1 gram/4 milliliters, Test Depot, aka Nebido. Month later, second injection, same thing, 1 gram, 4 mil, Test Depot. 3 weeks later, blood test. Okay, so before TRT, test free was 11.36 PG, is that picograms per milliliter? Yeah, picogram, yeah. Okay, and then
13 to 40. I mean, that must be the reference range, the normal range. So he's in the he was a little below normal on that. Total test was 201 nanograms per deciliter. Normal range is 164.94, but that's specific, to 753.38. I'd be interested to know what country this was. But
Yeah.
okay, so his test was in the low normal range, his total test. E2. Do you know what that is? I don't know what E2 is.
Estradiol.
Okay. 94.33 pg per ml. Normal is below 35. Okay, so his whatever you just said is very high. 3 weeks after my second injection, free test was 13.05. So that's very, very low. That's low normal, just barely in the low normal range. Total test 745.14, which is very high in the normal range. His E2 was 34. Normal is below 35, so he's right around there. SHBG 54.3, and the reference range for that is 17.1 to 77.6. So his SHBG was normal. Lipid and thyroid profile is normal. My question is, why my free test isn't high above average? Is it too soon to tell? Is there something else I'm missing? Don't feel any difference in the gym. Sex is a tad better than before. Mood and energy too. Should I ask the doctor to decrease the time between injections? My next injection is after 10 weeks. What should be done to improve the free T? Thanks a lot.
This is excellent. Ooh, this is a good question. So this is testosterone. This is undecanate. This is the longest acting ester that we have on the planet. Wow. It's actually in America. Yeah, long acting ester. This is long act. This is like in Europe. So this is Europe, and I've seen this. We have it here in America now. It took them years to get it in because it's got a side effect. It's got a side effect of an oil embolus that can go to your lungs and kill you.
Oh my God!
And I'm not sure if it's really true or not, but it doesn't sound good. So they give. You see what they give? Look at this, Ron. They give. You see what they. And that was a good. You did a good presentation there, Ron. This is complicated stuff. You're going to med school.
It looks like they're doing 4 milliliters at once every time.
So this versus this is a great question, man. I'm going to be all over this one. This is definitely what I love to do. So we do esters here. Like I think the best thing is, for guys, they take small little esters of CYP or nanthate, and we do these little teeny, 0.3 to 0.5 to 0.6 or so, 7, depending on the guy, every 3 days to 7 days, and you get it so it doesn't do this, right?
Right.
So it just kind of goes like that, and the guys feel great. And then you're going to see, I'll talk about the total and free testosterone on the esters, on those esters versus this ester. So I discovered some really wild stuff over the last decade. So look at, now we're injecting a half, equal to or less than half a mil, and that's why you can put it in the deltoid. I mean, walking around, quad injections can be painful, right?
Sure. Pirate leg.
No, I mean, this is the real world here. So the gluteal injection is great, for the movies, but it's really not optimal for TRT because you can only get to certain areas. I know guys are good. I know guys are gurus, but this is just my opinion. Yep. But you can't. It's hard to do the bilateral sides, but I know guys can, and it's easy just to keep little. This is a sequence. Little doses in the bilateral deltoids, and you're not walking on them. The pharmacokinetic of the absorption and the delivery, they go up very smoothly. When you're putting these intramuscular, and I've learned this from the guys who were steroid users. They told me this stuff. Yeah. When you're injecting things into the glute and you're sitting on, you're not really sitting on the area you inject, so I understand you're not. Yeah. But it's still an active muscle, and a lot of times if guys don't know how to inject, they're not injecting into the gluteal maximus, medius or minus. It's the glute maximus, right? Yeah, they're injecting in between it, so they're doing a subcutaneous injection.
Oh boy!
So again, that's why. So this is but this medicine in America is in 3 mils. In Europe, it's in 4 mils, Ron.
Yeah, that's your standard pen or syringe is 3 milliliters. So
yes, Ron.
You would have to start filling up a second one.
Ron, they're doing all. That's why you have to do it. It has to be done in the doctor's office. They have to watch you again for this anaphylactic reaction. It's not anaphylactic itself, but it's a pulmonary. It's affecting your heart, your pulmonary system, because your heart. It's rare. I don't know what the number. There's a black box warning on it though, because you're putting in so much oil into your body in one area, and if you're injecting it into a big region of capillary or a vein,
yeah, you're dead.
That's Trenkov on steroids.
Wow.
So, which we know Trenkov can be bad. So, and so all that oil. So he's injecting all that oil, and then the chemical molecular structure of this testosterone derivative is so it's dissolving so slowly, which is a great thing in theory. So it's like one injection every season. Matter of fact, in the European trade journals for men, andrology, which I'm part of all this stuff, they have a picture of a man in the winter in Aspen. No, Ron, listen to this.
Yeah,
they have a picture. These are geniuses. These advertising. There's a picture of him smiling with his beautiful girl in Aspen.
Yeah.
Or that's the United States. Sorry, in the Swiss Alps. And then they have a picture of him in the spring in Florence, Italy. And then he's in summer in Rome. Oh, wow. And then he's in the winter. I mean, so they do one shot and see you later, buddy. Come back in 3 months. So America cut it down to, I don't use it. I just don't like. I still think the little small doses, are great. If a guy's lazy, I guess he doesn't like it. I mean, I don't know. We used androgel or the gels, or you can take one of these injections, every week. I just don't think giving an injection of testosterone, cypionate or nanthate every 2 weeks to a month I don't think that's good.
Right.
Because it's going to go way up and down. So, but if a guy, I do have a patient that comes in every week, and I give him a small injection once a week because he just wants me to do it. So it's like, the guy comes in and I run out of the room if I'm with someone. I give him a hug, I give him an injection, and he's off for the next week. Most guys do it themselves. Yeah. So with this said, this is done by a doctor. It's a huge depot. It's a huge placement. And then let's look at his numbers here. He starts off. He's got 201 nanogram per mil, picogram per mil. He has low T. Obviously, the range on the total testosterone. This is a European thing, but we have America. It's very similar. Yeah. So 201. He's technically not fully low on the total. Look, it's 164.9. It's a 753.38. But his free is certainly low. So whatever this guy is. His age, he's steroid using, he's not, he's diabetic, I don't know what he is. He's got normal, technically low normal total, but his free testosterone is low. So what could this be? His sex hormone binding globulin could be too high because it's holding on to the free testosterone. Yeah. Okay, we're not. It's cool though, Ron. This is why I'm on the show. So that's how you evaluate that. His estradiol level is like you said, it's really high. We see this in men that have multiple conditions. He has low T, certainly on paper. I'm assuming he doesn't feel good as well. He has an imbalance of androgen to estrogen. Is it because of diabetes? Is it because of post-traumatic stress? Is it from narcotics? Is it from opioids? Is it from prednisone, corticosteroids? And or is this secondary to a man being off steroids? That's the whole. I just ran the gamut for you.
Yeah, we don't know.
So we don't know. So 3 weeks. So let's think about this drug. It's they load it up. See the load? They load up with one, and then a month later they do another one, and then you see that 3 weeks later the blood test, and then he comes. Then I don't give this med, so I don't know. They load it with 2 or 3 injections, and then the guy is on every 3 months. He's coming in for injections every 3 months. So checking it 3 weeks after is never. It's probably too soon. You're not. So it's still going up, Ron.
Yeah.
But let me try to get to some pieces here. So his free testosterone is still low, and his total testosterone that's up there. Now they got that up.
Yeah.
His E2, 34, so that came down. Is that right? The E2 came down.
Yeah, it did. Came down from
lipid, very good. Thyroid, he's not hypo. So what's happening here? If I could hypothesize, because I don't know the guy, I don't know the case. This is what I want to do, though, Ron, because I love this stuff. Sure. So sexual binding globulin is come down. Now, we assume they're using the same apples and oranges, like the testing is the same. Because if you do different test places, and different methodologies, they're apples and oranges. So sex-linked binding globin it has been normalized because he's on a steroid now, so his body's not producing it. You know, I don't want to say his name, but there's a famous doctor in the world, and he's in Europe. And I see we see some of the same patients we try to help out. And I know that he likes to give Anavar, I believe, in Winstrol to lower sex-linked binding globin, because if your sex-linked binding globin is too high, you're holding on to your free testosterone. We want to liberate the free testosterone. One of the ways to do it is to decrease and take out of the picture sex-linked binding globin.
Okay, didn't know that.
So, you didn't know that? Yeah. So this is good bro science. So a lot of guys come and see me. They know all this stuff, and they're trying to play with it. So they're trying to like put it together themselves. Take a break, man. Come in to see me. It's fun. So and because these guys come in with data, they have matrices, Ron. Guys come in with matrices. Spreadsheets, man. It's great. And I'm like, wow. We sit here like, whoa, it's cool. And just trying to understand like what it did. Is there a pattern? How do you feel? It's really scientific. It's really fun. So this guy, his test is going up. His estradiol normalized because the brain up top is normalizing. He's actually, funny enough, aromatizing less because it's a hugely long-acting ester. I'm just not making it up. I mean, this is the only thing I can come up with. Right. And if the next blood work, this whole thing could be whacked completely out, because he's still on the trajectory going up on this kinetic.
Yeah.
Because of the half-life of this thing is very long. So 3 weeks, but the interesting piece is, one interesting piece that's amazing for me to see. It's completely opposite, at least at this point, with short-acting esters, not propionate, but enanthate and cypionate, because what I see with cypionate and enanthate is after 2 or 3 months, the total testosterone will max out.
Yeah.
This is a nadir. Like, you check it before the injection, so you see the low point. It's a standard of care among doctors. You just want to see like what's the. But if you see the sexually binding globin and all the other globins, which is albumin, people forget about albumin and globins. There are other steroid-holding globins that transfer in the serum. So sexually binding globin is one of the main ones, but it's not the only one. So you overload it, and then therefore the rest of this ester goes into the circulation as a free testosterone component, and that's why men's brains feel phenomenal and unfortunately change over years on esters of testosterone. I want people to I hope they can replay that, because I don't know if I can say that again. So that's what it is. But this is the opposite. At this point, after 3 weeks on this drug called testosterone libido undecanate, his total is going up, but his free is not, because he's still picking up, the carrier is absorbing the free T. Right.
So he's not really reaping the benefits of the testosterone like he should.
He will. But here's the question. Here's the deal. Yeah. He may, in the future, and he may feel fine once it becomes steady state. It needs to get to a steady state. And that's going to take, oh my God, with this drug, it could take a half a year or so.
Oh my goodness.
So most of us don't like it here, not to mention you could die from it, 1 out of 10,000 or whatever the number is, and it's probably not. It's probably, you're putting a huge oil, you can't inject 4 mils, not to mention 3 mils, at least I don't want to see this, into your deltoid.
That'd be a big lump, very big lump.
That's a big lump. So you put it in your rear end, and this is what they have to do. So in the end of the day, for this gentleman, I hope I answered your questions, because that's the kinetics of the estrogen and the half-lives, and very cerebral question. Definitely looked at it. I was ready. I saw it. I was like, this is going to be great. This is going to be a great question.
So quick, a question for you about that. So these long-acting undecanate, which we don't use a whole lot in the U.S. as far as I know, over time, if this guy's getting say he's getting a shot of this, what's standard for these guys? Like once a month, once every 2 months?
No, every 3 months, Ron. Every 3 months.
So after enough time, say 6 months into this regimen, and moving forward? Is he going to be okay? Are things going to be stable? And
Here's what I've seen, Ron. Here's what I've seen. Guys feel okay on it. I mean, I've only seen a bunch of guys, because remember, it's pretty new in America, a couple of years, and guess what? No one's using it in America.
Yeah. Why is that?
Why? Because you don't need to. Because we have gel, androgel, we have small doses of testosterone, because the other stuff we have is cheap, effective, and works great.
Yeah. I mean, the only benefit I can possibly see to this is someone that doesn't want to have to think about their testosterone injections, except for 3 or 4 times a year.
That's it. And you know what? I did offer. Listen to this. I offered it to a guy about a year or two ago. A guy, he's been on testosterone forever. He's a businessman. He travels all over the world. Yeah. Actually, in Taiwan and all this kind of stuff. He's a really cool guy. And he goes, Doc, I used to get it. Libido. Do you know what this is? I go, of course I know what it is. He goes, can you get it? I go, we can actually get it now. And he goes, I want to do it. I want to, because I don't want these small injections. It doesn't matter. I just want to. I felt pretty good on it. He said. So I actually went to go. I ordered it for him, and he changed his mind. So I was ready to go. I was this is going to be interesting. I've never, I was ready to give him the shot in the office and do all the protocols. I was game on. And then I remember we contacted him, and we, sir, we called this in for you. The pharmacy says they're restocking it. Like, they're not going to, are you picking it up? What are we doing? Yeah. And he just says, I'm all set. I think what the doc said, what I said to him, I told him I thought the small injections every week are going to be better, and he could travel with those, and you just bring the prescription box. Right. I mean, TSA is not going to smash you on the ground because you have testosterone in your purse or in your bag. Just make sure you have a prescription. Yeah. Don't bring it without a prescription.
So I have to wonder if certain countries, maybe over in Europe, this is their preferred administration. And if this guy asks his doctor, "Can I get on cypionate or Nante?" Doctor will probably say no. This is what we're doing.
Yes, I have a kid. I have a guy. I don't want to say the country. I have a guy right now that we're going for the whole other problem because they want to give him this, and he doesn't feel good on it. His free testosterone levels are better at small little hits. Right. And his doctor, I emailed this doctor. I don't want to say. I just don't feel comfortable saying even what country.
That's fine.
I emailed this because he came here to see me. I mean, from Europe. And that happens. Guys come to me. Hopefully, that's why Fort Lauderdale is going to be easy for them to get in and out of. Sure. It's an international airport. So, and I'm like 20 minutes from Fort Lauderdale Hollywood Airport. So, the guy went back, and now he's getting this problem. Customs. He can't get testosterone cypionate in customs easily. He needs it. He has very low levels. He's a PT. He's a incredible veteran in this incredible war we're all working together on over in Afghanistan, and he was one of our allied forces, and he's an incredible man. And he has PTSD, very bad, and he had very low testosterone with it. So they agreed to treat him, but they only want to give him this, Ron. Now, and he said, guys, please, I want smaller hits. So he went here. I agreed with it, and I said, this is what I would do, but I have to work now prescribing. It's not me. He has to be prescribed in his country, and they're throwing roadblocks on the poor guy. I don't know.
I don't want to keep harping on it, but is it just because they don't want to be bothered to see him more often?
They don't know. No. They don't know, Ron. Okay. Ron, this is why I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot of work to do, and we're moving. We have positive ground. They don't know. Doctors don't know. They don't feel comfortable with it because of come on, Ron, because of majorly based, because of America. Yeah. Because of the monsters, because of this incredible politicalization, and they don't even know that testosterone itself is not bad. Yeah. But it's the abuse of the steroids that have these guys. It's just completely been put to a position, Ron, where these doctors they hate these men. I mean, it's in this country too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're actually getting a little more progressive here, thank goodness. Yeah. It sounds like they have some catching up to do overseas.
It's Ryan. It's not. That's it, man. That's a good week, huh? It's a good question. Yeah. Those are some good questions.
Boy, we've been all over the place this week. Well, we better wrap it up, Doc. It's been almost an hour now.
Been awesome, man. Awesome again, Ron.
Thank you guys for your questions. Thank you, Dr. O'Connor, for tackling, as always, a wide range of subjects and questions. Be sure to check out his website, metabolicdoc.com, anabolicdoc.com. You can find a link there to his social media, to his new YouTube channel. And of course, you've got to get the book, America on Steroids, It's Time to Heal.
Amazon's blowing up. We're selling a couple books per day.
Awesome. And if you're watching this on Muscular Development YouTube, please subscribe. We love having subscribers. And that'll do it for this week's edition of Ask the Anabolic Doc. Thank you, Doctor. Great job as always. Appreciate your insights, medical expertise, and all that for us meatheads. We love it.
I love you guys.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.